A while back, it was officially confirmed that Returnal was coming to PC, you know, after like a year's worth of leaks, but let's not worry about that. This is going to be the first PlayStation 5 exclusive to get a PC release, which should be a pretty huge indication of what's to come in the future. The $60 price tag is a little presumptuous, especially after God of War and Spider-Man launched at $40, but you can't win them all. Before I say anything else, I do want to point out the hilarity of Forspoken revealing its garbage PC specs, and then less than 24 hours later, PlayStation randomly deciding to hype up Returnal's PC port. But that must have been a total coincidence, right? We couldn't be trying to clean up Square Enix's mess now, could we, Sony? Could we, Sony? But Returnal finally making its way to PC is a nice showing that it's not just the older games that Sony will be porting over here, as if that was ever really in question. With the first true PS5 exclusive to get a PC port, that seemingly clears the runway for games like Demon's Souls, although I do think it's funny that like 60% of the replies to this tweet from PlayStation were just people asking about Bloodborne. Like, so much so that Bloodborne was trending, which is hilarious to me.
I don't want your apology. I want Bloodborne.
But the responses to this news were generally positive, very positive. More good games for more people, it's always a good thing. But naturally, there are people who are not happy about this announcement at all, and until these people get the message and grow the fuck up, I'm going to keep making fun of them. The only one new IP for the PS5 is coming to the PC. Thank you, Ryan and Holst. All PlayStation fans are very happy. Eye roll emoji. And the game is almost 2 years old. Like, you would think PS5 players would have bought the game by now, right? Although, ironically, PS5 players didn't really buy this thing when it came out. Although I feel it's worth pointing out that while Returnal's sales were much lower than most first-party Sony games, it was also heavily impacted by the state of the market at the time. This game launched in early 2021, exclusively on a console that hardly anyone could get their hands on. Granted, 500,000 copies on a single platform is still impressive for any game. That's a lot of money generated by a video game. But it's obviously significantly less than games like God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn, you know. It's hard to say definitively if Returnal was a financial success or not without knowing its budget, but the point I'm making is that we shouldn't be too gung-ho about the sales being lame, because that really wasn't the game's fault. By all accounts, the game seems like it was actually really good, so I, for one, am really glad the devs are getting a second chance for exposure, because good games deserve attention, even if the publisher botches the launch. Too Long Didn't Read, Returnal's underwhelming launch was Sony's fault. Another middle finger to PlayStation gamers. Let's advertise the PC platform while lying to our consumers that PlayStation is the only place to play exclusives and experiences that Eren Yeager Rumbling and 30 Days of Night can't get to SIE quick enough. The fuck does that mean?
It seems like you have a tenuous grasp on the English language in general.
Okay, well, filibuster.
Do you know what that word means?
Yep.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Also, Sony didn't lie to you, by the way. Returnal was only available on PlayStation, and now it's not. God of War was only available on PlayStation, and now it's not. They never said this game will literally never be anywhere but this one PlayStation console. All they said was only available on PlayStation, which wasn't a lie. But if that's all you cared about here, the bigger issue may be the fact that you're more concerned about a logo than the actual game you're paying money for. Oh great, another PS5 exclusive being put to PC. Look, I'd be reasonable with this one being ported over if PS5s are still hard to get, but with how things are now with the system, it's not that easy anymore. So let me get this straight. You would be okay with PC ports if the PS5 was still hard to get, which, by the way, it still is. But now that the PS5 is easier to get, you don't think PC ports should happen? So you're only okay with more people getting to play Returnal if they also have to pay $500 on top of the game. You're an asshole. Yes, another lie by Sony. So much for Returnal being only on PS5, Sony just loves to continue to lie. Again, they never lied to you, you just put words in their mouth. Like if I tweet out, I'm eating a sandwich, but then I finish the sandwich, that tweet is not a retroactive lie. That's absurd. Returnal was only available on PlayStation for almost 2 years. They didn't lie to you, you're just being a child. Oh, good lord, caps lock alert. Stop porting over your PS5 games to PC. Are you literally trying to devalue your own game console? Because giving more people access to the games you produce is devaluing the brand. Like, that's literally the opposite of how this works, but go off. Follow me for a follow back. So, never more? And then screenshots of the only on PlayStation stamp. Look, I don't get why so many people are hung up on this. Not only are you putting words into Sony's mouth, but you're also trying to argue that games that are multiple years old shouldn't be given life on another platform. These games are years old, they've run their course on PlayStation, and you apparently think they're really good and really amazing, but you don't think they should be put on new platforms for other people to play them? Like, look, if 2 years go by and I don't buy a PlayStation just to play these games, I think it's safe to say I'm not gonna buy a fucking PlayStation, and Sony knows that. Let me make something perfectly clear here, okay? Selling a game is a lot easier than selling a console. Not everyone wants to drop 400 or 500 bucks on a PlayStation, especially if I already have a nice PC. But if you put a good game on a platform that I already have, I'm going to be much more open to supporting you because you're meeting me halfway. I'm not gonna buy a PlayStation. A lot of PC gamers aren't gonna buy a PlayStation. But that doesn't mean Sony's first-party output doesn't have value. This really is not complicated. Dead game, Xbox is better. Hey, how's Halo Infinite doing right now?
You know what? I fucking hate you.
3 middle fingers. Healthy discourse. Healthy discourse. Look, you get the idea now. Returnal is just the latest Sony game to get ported to PC, and if you're anyone other than a complete corporate shill who doesn't care about games, this should be good news. I genuinely am yet to hear a single good argument as to why first-party Sony games should not be ported to PC. Put simply, most PC gamers are not going to buy your console, but a lot of them are also perfectly willing to buy your games. So why not? Like seriously, why not? If you know PC gamers aren't going to buy your console, but they are interested in buying your games, why not meet them halfway? And this benefits everyone, you know? The developers get more exposure, their games get better performance and longevity, gamers get more options, and the industry gets more direct competition. I genuinely do not see a single downside to Sony porting their games to PC. So be happy that these games you love are getting more attention from more gamers. And remember, if you take away nothing else from this video, just remember this. If you like a game less because it isn't an exclusive anymore, you probably didn't like that game very much to begin with. Toodles.
I don't want your apology. I want
Bloodborne.
Is that a joke? Tell me you're joking.
It seems like you have a tenuous grasp on the English language in general.
Okay, well, filibuster.
Do you know what that word means?
Yep.
Yeah, what's that mean?